Hello everyone, my name's Amanda Silk and I'm a professional learning mentor here at Captiva Learning. Today I'm going to give you a tour of OneFile. Now OneFile is your online e-portfolio. It's where all of your work will be uploaded, assessed, you'll be able to see feedback. There's lots of other features as well. Now one of the best ways to get to know OneFile is just to have a play. Click on things, see where they take you, you'll soon get the hang of it. But what I'm going to do today is just take you through some of the key elements of OneFile just to get you started. After that, it's up to you. Have a play, have an explore. You can't break it, trust me, we've all tried and thought we might have done at one point or another. But if you ever get really stuck, just reach out to your PLM and they'll help you. Now I must point out that my portfolio is going to look a little bit different to yours. And the reason is that this is a practice account. And what you may also notice is in fact that the learner is me. When I go onto OneFile, I like to use the menu down the left-hand side of the page. And the first thing that I would always do when I come onto OneFile is click on Portfolio. When the portfolio page loads, the first thing you'll see is the information and options. And in here, you'll find your learning aims. Now, these are the different parts of the course that make up your apprenticeship. So in this first section, for example, you have the apprenticeship standards for the apprenticeship that you are doing. Again, yours may be called something different to mine, that's fine. What you'll then see is your current progress. So this tells you what percentage you have achieved of that particular learning aim. You'll then also have your target progress. So this will give you a rough idea of where you should be with that particular aim. If you're ever concerned about where your current progress is compared to your target progress, again, reach out to your PLM. They'll be able to explain to you why you're on that progress percentage, and they'll also be able to support you to get up towards that target. You'll see some other learning aims on here, such as English and Maths. Now, for all apprenticeships, it's a requirement that you have your level 2 English and Maths qualifications. Some of you may have already come to the apprenticeship with these qualifications, and what will happen is your PLM will upload your certificates onto OneFile for you. What will then happen is you will sign these off and it will instantly jump your current progress to 100%, which is very satisfying when all you've had to do is upload your certificates. For those of you that don't have your level 2 in English and Maths, don't worry, that's something that the NCE will support you to achieve as well. This bottom one says Gateway to Endpoint. These are things that your PLM will discuss with you throughout your time on the apprenticeship. Your Gateway meeting is your final sign-off meeting to confirm that all of your apprenticeship work has been completed. And your endpoint refers to your endpoint assessment, which is a bit like your final exam. Now these things won't happen until right at the end of your apprenticeship, which means your progress percentage here will stay at 0 right until the very end. That's nothing to worry about.
Now, just under that, we have your overall progress percentage. This takes into account all of the percentage that we looked at previously and puts them into an average so you can see your overall progress. If you were to click on that, it will give you a breakdown of all the different elements of the apprenticeship. Next to that, we have your workplace. So this should say whichever workplace you are currently at. Next to this is your off-the-job percentage. And next to that is your last OTJ activity. This is the date that you last entered an off-the-job entry into your timesheet. Next, we're going to look at TLAPs. You'll find the TLAPs here in the little box with the light bulb. TLAP stand for Teaching, Learning and Assessment Plans. What you can see at the moment is here at the top I have 3 pending, which means I need to go in there and have a look at what TLAPs are ready for me.
If you click on the TLAPs page, it will bring you to your Teaching, Learning and Assessment Plans. Now within here, we can see that I currently have 3 different TLAPs. However, not all of them are for me, and I will know if there's something that I need to do or not by this last column here, where it says Teaching, Learning Assessment Plan locked by. So at the moment, there are 2 which are locked by the learner, which is me, which means I can access them. At the moment, there is one of them which is locked by the assessor. This means I can go in and have a look, but I don't need to do anything with that one just yet. So what you would do to have a look at your Teaching, Learning Assessment Plan, if you scroll down the page, it will tell you if there are any tasks that have been set. It will give you an overview of the task and the date that it is due. As you can see here, I have 2 tasks to complete. We scroll down, it will have any attachments that you might need to complete those activities. And it will then tell you a plan of the engagement. So this is essentially your lesson plan. This tells you what it is that you're going to achieve and how you're going to achieve it. So do have a read through that to make sure you're happy with what that assessment will look like. After you've completed that piece of learning, there will then be a summary of engagement. This will give a summary of what happened during that engagement and the learning outcomes achieved. It will then tell you what's next. So for example, here, it was a coaching session that was observed. My next engagement is a witness testimony with my line manager. It will then tell you if there was any additional learning needs support given, an action plan of any next steps that may be needed, and you'll also receive any feedback and comments from your PLM. If there are any issues arising that may have come out of the conversation, this is where they'll be noted as well. Now at the bottom, you'll see signatures, and you'll see that this bar is highlighted yellow, and this is the learner. So this is ready for me to sign. Now because this is electronic, rather than you needing to sign, all you do is tick in this box here, go to the bottom and click accept. This is you saying that you accept this learning plan and you're prepared to do that piece of learning. Once you have accepted a TLAP, it will take you to your tasks list. The reason for this is because the tasks that were sat in that TLAP have now been released and added to my task list so that I can get on with doing that lovely learning. So the activities that were on that TLAP we just looked at have now been added to my task list. Now, if you're thinking, how do I get back to those TLAPs? Again, I would go back to Portfolio, scroll down until I find my light bulb. Now what you can see is now there are only 2 pending because I've accepted one of them. Again, one for me to do something with and one that currently is still with my assessor. To go back to the task list, go back to the menu on the left of the page, and here you can see tasks with a little clipboard. And what you'll notice is that this has now gone up to 4 because of those tasks we've just added to that list. So let's click on that. So here you can see the tasks that are ready for me to complete. It will tell you the date that they are set and the date that they are due. Now the reason this one is in red is because the due date has passed, meaning I really need to get on with this one. To complete a task, all you need to do is click on it. If you click on a task, the first thing that will come up is the task overview. It will tell you the instructions and it will attach any learning resources that you need. Scroll down, it will then tell you the criteria that have been attached to this assignment. Therefore, if you are successful in this assignment, you should achieve these learning outcomes. The evidence box is where you upload your evidence that you have achieved this particular task. What you would do is click on Add Attachment. So you click on Select Files, a box will pop up which will allow you to select the document that you would like to upload. This has uploaded. You can see it's been selected because it's in yellow and it has a little tick next to it. You would then simply click Attach. This will then take you back to the task page that you were on. Again, if we scroll down again, now when you look at the evidence box, what you will find is the piece of evidence that you have just uploaded. If you need to leave a note to your assessor, you can do in this box. Here, you then come to your timesheet. This is where you enter roughly how long it took you to complete that particular activity. To sign this, you just click on this box to confirm that you have signed. You can then either save and refresh. This will simply save where you're currently at on this page and refresh it. In order to submit this work to your assessor, you need to click Save and Quit. This will then send the work to your assessor to be assessed. Now at this point, it takes us to the learning activity/assessment. So these are all the learning activities and assessments that have been completed so far. At this point, it will show you that piece of work that we just submitted. You'll know if it's something that you need to do something with, or whether it's ready for your assessor, again by this column over here, action required by. So at the moment, this particular piece of work is with the assessor. It's ready for them to mark. If you ever need to find this page, again, a couple of different ways to do this. But if I was to go through Portfolio, I would then scroll down and I'm looking for Learning Activities/Assessment. This is next to the TLAPS page. It's just here. And as you can see, I have 3 in here. There's that piece of work I just uploaded. I can go in and double check that it was the right activity. And yes, my piece of evidence is there. I'm just waiting for my assessor to sign it off as complete. It may be that a piece of work is resubmitted to you. It may need some further evidence or some further detail added. If that's the case, it will be added back to the Learning Activity/Assessment box. So again, back to Portfolio, come back here. If you have completed a piece of work, it will disappear from this list. If you want to go back to it, you just go up here where it says Show. So at the moment it's showing the work that is pending. That's because it's not yet been signed off by my assessor. If you click on it and click on Completed, you can then see the pieces of work that have been signed off by your assessor. Next, we're going to go back to Portfolio.
Next, we're going to look at how you log your off-the-job activities. To do this, we need to click on the timesheets in the left-hand column. In timesheets, you can see things such as the target amount of off-the-job hours you need to complete. You can then see how many off-the-job hours you have actually logged and what this works out to as a percentage. It will also tell you the date that you last logged your off-the-job activity. If you have not logged any OTJ activity for 14 days, you will receive a reminder via email from OneFile. You should aim to log your OTJ at least once a week. Think of it as signing off at the end of a week. What a lovely way to finish your Friday by knowing that you've logged your OTJ for that week. To log your off-the-job activity, you need to click on the Create Timesheet Entry button here. It will then load this screen. Firstly, you need to select a category. This is where you choose what type of off-the-job activity you have completed. For example, reading and research. It will then ask you to select a start date. You can backdate your entries, so if you're logging your off-the-job at the end of the week, you can backdate your entries to the start of that week. It will then ask you to select a start time. Remember, the off-the-job activities should be logged for between 7 AM and 7 PM. It will then ask you to log the duration of the activity in hours and minutes. No single entry should last longer than 420 minutes or 7 hours. In this main box where it says Timesheet Entry, you should give a description of what the learning activity was. For example, read chapters 3 to 6 of books X by author Y. It may also be that you developed a new skill. For this, you could enter Developed Skill A when completing an appraisal with a member of my team. Once you have finished, click on the green Save button. If you scroll down, you'll see a list of the OTJ that has been previously logged. If you've made a mistake in your timesheet entry, you can scroll across and click on the Edit button. You can then edit any of the details of your timesheet entry. Don't forget to press Save afterwards. During your progress reviews, your PLM will ask you about these learning activities and the impact that the learning has had on your role. One last thing I'd like to show you is the resources page, and that can be found in the left-hand column.
Here you'll find lots of different resources. Again, yours will look different to mine, but it will have things like the complaints policy and procedure, so do have a read of that. If all else fails and you're not sure where you are and what you need to go on, always go back to Portfolio. On Portfolio, there are lots of other features. It will have things like when your next review is, so you can see when that's been set with your PLM. But also in the middle of the page are these various tabs. So there's another way to access your learning journal and another way to enter timesheet. Again, just find the way that works for you. If you look across these tabs, there are other pages that you may find useful, such as completing your scorecard or looking at your gap analysis. Analysis is a way of looking at which criteria have been achieved within your apprenticeship. So if you'd like to click on Show All and then click Apply, you'll then be able to see the knowledge, skills and the behaviours of the apprenticeship. If you have any problems navigating OneFile, do reach out to your PLM. Remember, they're here to support you. It was all new to us once as well, but you'll soon get the hang of it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and good luck with your apprenticeship.